Hello and welcome to another Magic the Gathering video. So recently we saw the release of the new Commander 2018 product. This has just arrived today, including the 3 other decks. So I'm going to unbox these 4 decks over the next few days, probably spaced about by about a day apart. And I'm just going to unbox them as they come out of the shipping box. So first up, we've got the blue-red Exquisite Invention deck with Sahili the Gifted. So we'll take a look at that once we open up this and start going through the deck. And in here we get a deck box, a 100 card deck with 17 new cards and 10 double-sided token cards, plus 4 oversized commander card, strategy insert and a reference card. So we'll see how similar this is to previous products. I think what they're tending to do now is just give you the main commander as the oversized one, and then the alternates, I don't think they're giving you oversized for those. They did for the very first Commander products, if you remember back to when it was first released. So there's our how to play guide with a bit of a backstory, a bit about playing the deck, a bit about commander rules, and the backstory section about Sahili the Gifted, Tornos as his apprentice, Varchild betrayer of Calador, and Brudiclad Telcor engineer. So let's see where they crop up in the deck. Here's our so-called deck box. I think if that was actually sleeved up, I don't think it would do too good a job at fitting in there. There's a little sort of format card on the back there. We'll have to take a look at that. Okay, so we've got some nice shiny foils here. Let me just bring that in a bit. So this is going to be tricky to read, I think. So with Sahili the Gifted, 2 blue-red, 4 loyalty planeswalker, legendary planeswalker Sahili. So the +1, create a 1/1 colorless servo artifact creature token. And another +1, the next spell you cast this turn costs 1 less to cast for each artifact you control as you cast it. And then the -7 ultimate, for each artifact you control, create a token that's a copy of it. Those tokens gain haste. Exile those tokens at the beginning of the next end step. So our blue-red alternate commanders, we have Brudiclad Telcor engineer, 4 blue-red legendary artifact creature artificer. It's a 4/4. Creature tokens you control have haste. At the beginning of combat on your turn, create a 2/1 blue mirror artifact creature token. Then you may choose a token you control. If you do, each other token you control becomes a copy of that token. And we got Tornos as his apprentice. Just simple blue-red to cast. It's a 1/3 legendary creature human artificer. Has haste, and for blue-red, tap, copy target activated or triggered ability you control from an artifact source. You may choose new targets for the copy. And here's some tokens. So we've got a mirror token. So these are the double-sided ones that you almost you always get with the Commander product. So a Mir and a Thopter. Oops. Mir and a Thopter. Mir and a Construct. Survivor token and a Mir. So something's creating survivor tokens here. Same for that one. And probably, yes, that one as well. So Thopter token and a Mir token. Thopter and Mir, servo. Thopter and a servo. And a clue token with a construct token. Okay. So, Loyal Drake is in the deck. What I think I'm going to do is I'll go through the rares, but I will read out obviously the other rarity cards. So we've got Loyal Drake here. That one's got Lieutenant on it. And there's Loyal Apprentice. Geode Golem. No one seems to care about the commander. Whenever Geode Golem deals combat damage to a player, you may cast your commander from the command zone without paying its mana cost. Ethereum Sculptors in here. Into the Royal. So we're going to see one or two common occurring commander staples here, I think, in various colours. Reverse Engineer, Thirst for Knowledge, card draw, Tidings, more card draw, Whirler Rogue, it's creating Thopters when it enters the battlefield, Thopter Engineer, Maverick Thopterist, Chief of the Foundry, so that's a Lord for artifact creatures. Commander Sphere is in here, as is Dreamstone Hedron and Hedron Archive. Got his Signet because we're playing blue-red. We have Magnifying Glass, which is what's creating our clue tokens. Mind Stone's in here, as is Pilgrim's Eye. So we've seen quite a few artifact staples. Prismatic Lens. Scrabbling Claws, Soul Ring, no surprise to see that in the decks, and a Swiftfoot Boots, Unstable Obelisk, Vessel of Endless Rest, and a Warm Power Stone. And then we've moved on to a Solitary Island. I'm sure there's more basic land islands in here. And some rares here. We've got Echo Storm, 3 and 2 blue, sorcery. When you cast this spell, copy it for each time you've cast your commander from the command zone in this game. You may choose new targets for the copies. Create a token that's a copy of the target artifact. Vidalcan Humiliator, 3 and a blue, 3/4 creature, Vidalcan Wizard, has Metalcraft on it. Whenever Vidalcan Humiliator attacks, if you control 3 or more artifacts, creatures your opponents control lose all abilities and have base power and toughness 1/1 until end of turn. Enchanter's Bane, 1 and a red enchantment. At the beginning of your end step, target enchantment deals damage equal to its converted mana cost to its controller unless that player sacrifices it. Sahili's Directive X, 3 red sorcery with improvise. So each artifact you tap after you've done activating mana abilities pays for 1. Reveal the top X cards of your library. You may put any number of artifact cards with converted mana cost X or less from among them onto the battlefield. Then put all cards revealed this way that weren't put into the battlefield into your graveyard. Treasure Nabber, 2 and a red, 3/2 creature goblin rogue. Whenever an opponent taps an artifact for mana, gain control of that artifact until the end of your next turn. We've got a legendary here in red, 2 and a red, 3/3 legendary creature human knight. Varchild, Betray of Kalador. Whenever Varchild Betrayal of Kelador deals combat damage to a player, that player creates that many 1/1 red survivor creature tokens, so that's where those are coming from. Survivors your opponents control can't block, and they can't attack you or a planeswalker you control. When Varchild leaves the battlefield, gain control of all survivors. Ancient Stone Idol, so 10 to cast. It's a 12/12 artifact creature golem. With Flash, this spell costs 1 less to cast for each attacking creature. It's got Trample, and when Ancient Stone Idol dies, create a 6/12 colourless construct artifact creature token with Trample. Coveted Jewel, so that's 6 to cast. It's an artifact. When Coveted Jewel enters the battlefield, draw 3 cards. Tap, add 3 mana of 1 colour. Whenever one or more creatures an opponent control attacks you and aren't blocked, that player draws 3 cards and gains control of Coveted Jewel. Untap it. Endless Atlas, another rare. 2 to cast artifact, 2 to activate and tap it. Draw a card, activate this ability only if you control 3 or more lands with the same name. Retrofitter Foundry, 1 to cast. It's an artifact. And there's a number of abilities here. So for 3, untap Retrofitter Foundry. 2, tap, create a 1/1 colourless server artifact creature token. 1 tap, sacrifice a servo, create a 1/1 colourless Thopter artifact creature token with flying. And tap, sacrifice a Thopter, create a 4/4 colourless construct artifact creature token. Soul of New Phyrexia is in here. So 6 to cast. It's a 6/6 artifact creature avatar with Trample. For 5 permanents you control gain indestructible until end of turn. Or for 5, well actually I say or, you can, if you've got enough mana to sink into this, you can obviously activate both abilities. So for 5, exile Soul of New Phyrexia from your graveyard. Permanents you control gain indestructible until end of turn, although of course to activate that one it would have to be in your graveyard. Ether Gale, 3 and 2 blue for a sorcery, returns 6 target non-land permanents to their owner's hand. Inkwell Leviathan's in here, 7 and 2 blue, 7/11 artifact creature Leviathan with Trample, Island Walk and Shroud. Sahili's Artistry, 4 and 2 blue sorcery. Choose one or both, create a token that's a copy of a target artifact. Create a token that's a copy of target creature, except that's an artifact in addition to its other types. Shardling Sphinx, 4 and 2 blue, artifact creature Sphinx. It's a 4/4 with flying. Whenever an artifact creature you control deals combat damage to a player, you may create a 1/1 blue Thopter artifact creature token with flying. Got Thopter Spy Network in here, 2 and 2 blue, enchantment at the beginning of your upkeep. If you control an artifact, create your 1/1 colourless Thopter artifact creature token with flying. Blasphemous Axe in here, 8 and a red sorcery. This spell costs 1 less to cast for each creature on the battlefield. Blasphemous Axe deals 13 damage to each creature. Hellkite Igniter, 5 and 2 red for a 5/5 creature dragon with flying and haste. 1 and a red. Hellkite Igniter gets +X/+0 until end of turn, where X is the number of artifacts you control. Magma Quake, X 2 red instant. Magma Quake deals X damage to each creature without flying and each planeswalker. Chaos Warp is in here, 2 and a red instant. The owner of target permanent shuffles it into their library, then reveals the top card of their library. If it's a permanent card, they put it onto the battlefield. Blinkmoth Urn, 5 colourless artifact at the beginning of each player's pre-combat main phase. If Blinkmoth's Urn is untapped, that player adds colourless for each artifact they control. Bosch Iron Golem's in here. 8 to cast is 6/7 legendary artifact creature golem with Trample. 3 and a red, sacrifice an artifact. Bosch Iron Golem deals damage equal to the sacrificed artifact converted mana cost to any target. Darksteel Juggernaut, 5 for a star artifact creature Juggernaut with indestructible. Darksteel Juggernaut's power and toughness are each equal to the number of artifacts you control. Darksteel Juggernaut attacks each combat if able. Duplicants in here, so 6 to cast, 2/4 artifact creature Shapeshifter with imprint. When duplicant enters the battlefield, you may exile target non-land creature. As long as a card exiled with duplicant is a creature card, duplicant has the power, toughness, and creature types of the last creature card exiled with duplicant. It's still a shapeshifter. And we've got Mimic Vat in here. 3 to cast artifact also has imprint on it. Whenever a non-token creature dies, you may exile that card. If you do, return each other card exiled with Mimic Vat to its owner's graveyard. 3 and tap, create a token that's a copy of a card exiled with Mimic Vat. It gains haste, exile it at the beginning of the next end step. Real works, 5 to cast artifact. Whenever another non-tokened artifact enters the battlefield under your control, you may pay 2. If you do, create a token that's a copy of that artifact. Mere Battlesphere, 7 to cast, it's a 4/7 artifact creature, Mere Construct. When Mere Battlesphere enters the battlefield, create 4/1/1 colourless Mere artifact creature tokens. Whenever Mere Battlesphere attacks, you may tap X, untap Mere you control. If you do, Mere Battlesphere gets +X/+0 until end of turn and deals X damage to the player or planeswalker it's attacking. Prototype Portal, another rare. 4 to cast artifact with imprint. Whenever Prototype Portal enters the battlefield, you may exile an artifact card from your hand. X, tap, create a token that's a copy of the exiled card. X is the converted mana cost of that card. We have Psychosis Crawler in here. 5 to cast, star creature, artifact creature Horror. Psychosis Crawler's power and toughness are each equal to the number of cards in your hand. Whenever you draw a card, each opponent loses 1 life. We've got Scuttling Doom Engine in here. 6 to cast for a 6/6 artifact creature Construct. Scuttling Doom Engine can't be blocked by creatures with power 2 or less. When Scuttling Doom Engine dies, it deals 6 damage to target opponent or planeswalker. Good old Steel Hellkites in here. 6 to cast, 5/5 artifact creature Dragon with flying. 2 Steel Hellkite gets +1/+0 until end of turn. X, destroy each non-land permanent with converted mana cost X where controller was dealt combat damage by Steel Hellkite this turn. Activate this ability only once each turn. And the rares go on. We have Thopter Assembly, 6 to cast, 5/5 artifact creature Thopter with flying at the beginning of your upkeep. If you control no Thopters other than Thopter Assembly, return Thopter Assembly to its owner's hand and create 5/1/1 colourless Thopter artifact creature tokens with flying. Unwinding Clock, 4 to cast artifact, untap all artifacts you control during each other player's untap step. And now onto our mana base. So we have a number of basic land islands here. With artwork from previous sets. And here's our mountains, because we've got a blue-red deck here. Finally, we get on to our non-basic lands. So, Forge of Heroes. It's a land, no surprise there. Tap, add, colourless. Tap, choose target commander that entered the battlefield this turn. Put a +1/+1 counter on it if it's a creature and a loyalty counter on it if it's a planeswalker. Got Buried Ruin. Tap, add colourless, 2 and tap, sacrifice Buried Ruin, return target artifact creature from your graveyard to your hand. Command Towers in here, all familiar with that, if we've seen the commander product before. Tap, add 1 mana of any colour in your commander's colour identity. Darksteel Citadel is in here, another popular non-basic land in commander decks. Indestructible, tap, add colourless. Foundry of the Consuls. tap, add colorless, 5 and tap, sacrifice, foundry of the consoles, create 2 1/1 colorless stop to artifact creature tokens with flying. Great Furnace is in here. In an artifact deck, no surprise to see the artifact lands. Taps for red mana. Highland Lake, enters the battlefield, taps, and then taps for blue-red. Is it Boiler Works? Is it Boiler Works enters the battlefield tapped. When Is it Boiler Works enters the battlefield, return a land you control to its owner's hand, and then when it does get to be used, it taps for both blue and red simultaneously. Is it Guildgate enters the battlefield tapped, add blue or red. Here's our blue artifact land, Seat of the Synod. And then Swiftwater Cliffs enters the battlefield tap. When Swiftwater Cliffs enters the battlefield, you gain 1 life. Tap for blue or red. And then this was just the card we saw at the back, which lists some popular formats. So there we have it. Pretty interesting set of things in here. Quite a few staples. And you'll see there we've got certain other commanders which would obviously we could use in the deck, or I mean obviously, as you often find with these, the alternate commanders may be not quite as what's the word I'm looking for, you might need to sort of tweak the deck better or tweak the deck in order to play to the specific synergies of the alternate commanders. And the other thing we saw there as well, we'll probably see in other decks, is within the 2 colours, you're probably going to see other commanders that could be used in decks of that colour. So in this one we had the red one there for that. Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed taking a look at the, let me just pronounce this right, the Sahili the Gifted deck. And there you can see there's a larger version of that. Okay, thanks for watching. Bye for now.